Welcome to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 21st of October. I'm going to share some standout details to look out for, then on screen the event chart right at the start of the week. That will prove influential for the whole 7 days. Then as events unfold, I'll go through those before giving you a flavour of what to expect in terms of your ascendant, sun or the moon. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. It's great to have your company. If you've yet to sub, please do so now and help the channel to thrive. If you've yet to take advantage of your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast, if you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free. Also, I'll give you your life roadmap report in my special package, as well as 30% off. These charts are totally unique to each person they're produced for, a great value, and give you searing insights of how to work with the energy that lies ahead. Please see the link below for more. Now, this is a week which has a huge scorpionic flavour, but it's not just because the sun moves into Scorpio on Tuesday. Mercury is already in Scorpio and forges an impressive link with Saturn in the first half of this week. But also Mars, the ruler of the sign of Scorpio, is in a terrific link with Uranus through this week, pushing us to use our emotional intelligence to make some smart financial moves, which perhaps are a little bit more innovative. But we also have a quarter moon on Thursday this week, and that suggests if there are any relationships which are bogged down in politics, these could be revealed at that point in the week. But then, as the week draws to a close, the two rulers of the sign of Scorpio, Mars and Pluto, start to go into a face-up, which is going to reach a peak on the 3rd of November. But that mighty energy can point towards some very black and white situations this week. So it's going to be important to try to understand the subtleties and not see things in very singular terms. On the screen now, I'm showing the event chart right at the start of the week. You can see the sun is squaring up with Pluto. That reaches a peak on Tuesday. It's a very important aspect. We could encounter someone who's got a might is right approach, and because the sign of Libra, where the sun is very much about finding balance, we could really find our rankles coming up if we feel that someone's being unfair or trying to impose their will upon us. But the moon, the other luminary, is very close to Jupiter at the start of this week in the bubbly sign of Gemini. So there is an opportunity to use our enthusiasm and willingness to chat things through in order to encounter this week's challenges as well as seize the opportunities. Now, on Monday and through to Thursday, Mercury is forging that trine to Saturn. If we think Mercury in Scorpio is very much about diving deep, so it's about the details, but it's also trying to peer beneath the surface, and that link to the position of Saturn in Pisces suggests that when it comes to logic, we also need to be open to the emotion, because both signs, of course, are water signs. But on Tuesday, the sun does arrive back in the sign of Scorpio for the first time in 11 months. What's the implications of this over the next 4 weeks? Well, Scorpio can be about transformation. It can be about shared resources. It can be about where we're most devoted, but it also can be about where things can come to a close if they're not working out. So that is something to be mindful of. But all week, ironically, Mars, the traditional ruler of the sign of Scorpio, is in that terrific link with Uranus, which reaches a peak on Friday. So you can see with Mars in Cancer, there is a lot of water energy, but the position of Uranus in Taurus, despite its retrograde, pushes us all to think about how we can use our resources slightly differently, and that could be in the domestic sphere with Mars in Cancer. For those people who would like to work from home or perhaps start their own small enterprise, that's a really great link, because it really gives us an opportunity to listen to our hunches, Mars in Cancer, but try something different and fresh, the position of Uranus in Taurus. However, the quarter moon on Thursday is in Leo. Leo is very much about fun, sociability, creativity, and the sign of Scorpio can, in this quarter moon, flag up someone who's a bit too clingy, perhaps even possessive, perhaps even someone who tends to run on the jealous side. So if there is someone in your friendship circle or even romantically that's closing in and in some ways not quite trusting who you are, that could be something that you feel a little uncomfortable about. And with Mars and Pluto starting that opposition from Friday, which lasts for 10 days, that's a mighty event, probably one of the most powerful of the whole year by the time it reaches that peak on the 3rd of November. Why is that? Well, Mars in Cancer is not its best location. It can be prickly and defensive, but of course it's emotional, and Mars can be at times angry and frustrated. Pluto, on the other side of the heavens, is in the cool, strategic Capricorn. That's very much about the big prize. It's possible that balancing our home and emotional needs with how we need to connect to the wider world could create that sense of frustration, or we may encounter someone who's trying to force their will upon us. So whether it's at the start of this week with the Sun squaring up with Pluto, or the end of the week with Mars in the opposition, some heavy stuff can play out this week. So we're going to need to see beneath the surface to understand what's really going on, because if we take things at face value, it may seem that someone's being very blunt, almost rude, and so direct that it's very unsettling. But there could be a reason for that response, or it could be a reason why we feel a little more triggered than would normally be the case. Please stay with me as I go through each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces to give you a flavour of what you can expect in terms of your ascendant, sun or moon. Welcome Aries to your week commencing the 21st of October forecast. You have an opportunity this week to take an idea that's been germinating in the back of your mind and take it forwards, perhaps take that next step. It could be to do with raising finance or investing in something that you're really excited about. But if you are experiencing any politics, judgment from people at home or professionally, that could be something that does stick in your craw. The best way to push back is to make sure that you have all the facts really detailed and analysed and ready for your response, particularly if you are really gripped with excitement about what you want to do. But by the time of the quarter moon on Thursday, which does occur in your sister fire sign of Leo, if you're still feeling that someone's trying to inhibit you and trying to stop you flowing with what's important to you, you may feel that you have no option but to really assert yourself. And you may find yourself being surprisingly defensive as this week draws to a close. In a way, I feel that this week is going to see the fallout from the recent full moon in your sign. If you really feel that you've tried to listen, tried to tune into what other people feel and need, and they're still not tuning into what you need, this can be the week when you feel that you have to seize the moment to be much stronger about pushing through what's really important to you. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. So Taurus, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast could see some responsibilities and obligations close in upon you right at the start of the week. Your need for personal space may be emphasised by the Sun square to Pluto, but then the Sun moves into your sector of relating, joining up with Mercury, and Mercury itself forging that great link with Saturn in the first half of this week suggests if you are collaborating with certain people or a group of people and it really feels right, this could turn out to be something that's really binding and works well for the long term. In terms of your love life, the Sun moving into the 7th house does give you some opportunities to become much more interactive with folks over the following 4 weeks. But the quarter moon, which occurs on Thursday, just asks you to stay in touch with how things feel. And Mars, the planet of passion, in your 3rd house, just giving you that extra bit of confidence to perhaps say what you want, particularly in its link with Uranus in your sign. In fact, you could surprise someone this week by making quite a daring move. But if you are looking to travel somewhere, particularly towards the end of this week, or you're having a key discussion or meeting, it's going to be important to understand that Mars opposite Pluto could make you a little bit impatient, or it could see some kind of snag come up, and the temptation could be to try to push out the way any obstacles that come up, but try to be as patient as you can, because the face-off between Mars and Pluto towards the end of this week, which peaks on the 3rd, is something that is going to create the potential for some stress if things aren't flowing quite as quickly as you would like. In an existing relationship which isn't perhaps working quite so well, and it doesn't have to be only a romantic tie, I feel the quarter moon does ask you to try to work on the emotional, the feeling dimension, as much as setting your boundaries, which can, to be honest, always be a very good thing to do. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. So Gemini, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast makes me think about that old maxim of money makes the world go round. The reason for this is the strident energies that are being emanated by Mars in the 2nd solar house of your chart. Mars is about drive, passion, assertion, but it can be about impatience. The 2nd house can be about our values, but of course about everyday cash too. And that Mars influence actually forges a terrific link with Uranus in your 12th house. If you do have old talents or skills that could be repurposed in a fresh way, you could actually improve your income. But conversely, as Mars ends this week in an outright opposition to Pluto, which will peak exactly on the 3rd of November, if someone else you're needing to collaborate with has a very different calculus to you, you could end up at different ends of the settee. So money could be a point of contention if you encounter someone who has very different values. Also, right at the start of this week, you may be in the mood to speculate. And we know in order to accumulate, that's something we have to do. But that again can activate that power politics potential as the Sun squares up with Pluto. However, your ruler, Mercury, is in a very practical location and is asking you to analyse the detail of information very astutely. It also forges a great link to Saturn. Someone could be impressed by your grip on the detail. Sometimes you're seen as someone who's very charismatic, but very fast moving, but not always so in tune with those details. That aspect can help. Also, the Sun moving to join Mercury on Tuesday is a great chance to try to get some of the fundamentals in your world running more smoothly over the next 4 weeks. Now, that could be to do with your diet, nutrition, exercise. If you have got a job and it's a job that you enjoy, you can invest more effort in it. If you're in a job that doesn't give you the same sense of satisfaction, you may think to try to change it. Particularly as the quarter moon, which occurs on Thursday, could see you trying your very best to be ever more virtuous or productive. But if someone then is rather critical about what you're trying to do, and it may be because they have different values to you, as Mars and Pluto clash towards the end of the week, that could be something that really gives you the impetus to make a change. But if you do make a change, or you in some ways refine your routines to make your life run that much smoother, it definitely can be a great way to embrace the new arrival of the Sun in your 6th house. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. So Cancer, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast sees the week begin with the Sun coming to the end of its journey in the feeling part of your chart, very much to do with your home and family, but it does get into a tense right angle with Pluto. Pluto's so influential since 2008 in terms of relationships. If there have been some tensions with people close to you, that could come up to the boil. But a great way to move the moment is with the Sun moving into your sister water sign of Scorpio on Tuesday in order to do something that's brighter and lighter. So just introducing a little bit of levity into proceedings can really help. If you are a creative Cancer and you've been planning something for some while and you want to now make it come to life, the link between Mercury and Saturn is terrific. If you've got the plan and the vision, you can execute it with great passion and detail. Also, Mars in your sign, it's linked to Uranus in your sector of the future, can also embolden you to do something different, fresh, but most of all, quite daring. However, by Thursday, there is a quarter moon. It's a quarter moon that for you is in your 2nd house, squaring up with the Sun in house 5. It's a classic speculation aspect, this one. You could be tempted to splash out on something, have a flutter, and you know it could just pay off. But equally, if you are needing to be a bit more mindful about your resources, someone close to you may need some kind of support and may come to you for assistance. But if this has become something of a habit, you may need to remind them that you're not their bank. As the week draws to a close, however, and there is that face-off between Mars in your sign and Pluto, if there is one relationship which still seems to be highly charged and it's difficult to see how this will move forwards, one of you does probably need to give way a little bit. If you're not minded to compromise, it could lead to an outright conflict. Usually you tend to try to avoid having clashes like that, but at the same time, you may be mindful of not wanting to give way too much, because the lesson of Pluto since 2008 has taught you to make sure that you keep your boundaries strong and not be too bending. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Welcome Leo to your week commencing the 21st of October forecast. The week begins with quite a lot of nervous tension, I feel. And if you do have an excess amount of energy, the trick is going to be to know exactly where you want to use that. It could be around some home changes, particularly with the Sun's arrival in Scorpio on Tuesday, augmenting Mercury's location there too. If you're thinking about making some changes at home, Mercury's link to Saturn can help you to crunch the numbers in a very decisive but also precise way. Perhaps the biggest challenge this week could be that something you've been very invested in, particularly since the solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, an idea which has really caught your imagination, may not have quite gained the traction that you'd like. And because Mars in your 12th house is in a very positive link to Uranus in the part of your chart to do with your career. If it is something fresh or different you're doing, this pause or hiatus may get your nerves racing a little bit. Just be reassured that even if we start something, there are amendments that we could need to make along the journey. And if that's the case, try to be philosophical about it. Thursday's quarter moon is in your sign. Someone close to you may actually share how they feel about this new project or idea you have, or even the home changes that are important to you, and you might not totally align. In fact, one of the challenges of this week, Leo, is that I think by the end of the week someone could bring up an objection which to you does seem a little bit petty or perhaps minor, but for them it could be something that's very important. But surprisingly for you, it could be a little bit triggering if you do feel that they're not entirely seeing the big picture. But just know that if you tune into how things feel from Tuesday and the arrival of the Sun in Scorpio, it will help to guide your moves over the next 4 weeks. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. So Virgo, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast sees your ruler Mercury right at the heart of the action in the early part of the week as it links to Saturn. You could have a really important conversation. It may be about a contractual matter, something to do with work. It could be of a more personal nature. What people will know is that what you say is really what you mean. But as the week begins, the Sun is just coming to the end of a square to Pluto. And Pluto's in the part of your situation to do with life's joys. If you have been feeling that your social situation has been a little bit muted of late, the Sun's arrival in Scorpio on Tuesday gives you the push to interact more with other people. Perhaps the focus has more recently been on the foundational parts of your situation, anything to do with work. And those things are really important, of course, but now you could find yourself wanting to speed up your interactions with others. There could be a spontaneous decision to do something with a friend. It may be linked to travel as Mars forges a terrific link to Uranus. If you are someone who has a mutual interest with someone, that is something that you can coalesce around. However, on Thursday there is a delicate quarter moon. Something that's rather tender could have a potential to spill out into the open. Something you may have told someone in the past may not be super secure. And unfortunately, if you are tempted to share something that is more important to you to someone you don't know towards the end of this week, they may not retain your confidence. So I feel it is important to just be aware of keeping your cosmic cards close to your chest as this week goes on. However, as the week ends, you may find yourself a little bit conflicted about some long-term aims as Mars and Pluto come into an opposition. If you're not really feeling that the creative side of your situation is finding an outlet, this can push you to try to find some kind of way through this. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Libra, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast sees a clash at the start of the week between the Sun in your sign and Pluto. If you were feeling some tension as last week came to a close, that's likely to still be simmering away as you come into this new week, particularly if you feel that someone's trying to block you at an emotional level around something that's very important to you in terms of your individual hopes. That said, the Sun does move on Tuesday, joining up with Mercury in Scorpio. And if you have been developing a more creative plan, you'll be able to start to assess how far this has come. If it hasn't quite gone as fast as you would like, the next month gives you a great opportunity to see this gain traction. But the key to success is having a very sharp grip on the details. And Mercury's link to Saturn in the first half of this week certainly is going to help that. But the Sun moving into the second house is also a time when you can find yourself enjoying things like home cooking. If you're someone who has your own outdoor space, grows your own vegetables, those kind of more earthy pursuits can call out to you too. But this is a week when, in terms of your professional hopes, Mars continuing to be very prominent in your 10th house, its link to Uranus suggests that if you're approaching something with an innovative or different type of angle to other people, you could start to get some surprising levels of recognition. It's just the quarter moon, which occurs on Thursday, suggests that business and pleasure might not link. And as the week draws to a close and Mars and Pluto go into a powerful opposition, if your professional or worldly interactions are drawing in a lot of your energy at the moment, there may be someone close to you who just lets you know that they're feeling perhaps a little bit neglected. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Scorpio, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast sees the Sun return to your sign for the first time in 11 months. And you're really going to appreciate it, because it's possible, as last week came to a close, and even at the start of this week, that you could feel a little bit discombobulated. This is because of the Sun's last moments in Libra clashing with your modern ruler Pluto. Conversations can seem tense. Maybe someone doesn't seem to be as upfront or sincere as you would like, but all of that can just melt away as you come in to your own power. You're going to seize control of situations from Tuesday, and over the following month you have a great opportunity to really move into the moment and get going on the things that are really important to you. Mercury's going to help you at the start of this week. Your thinking can be clearer as the days go on. It's also an opportunity with your traditional ruler in a very free-spirited part of your chart to be more adventurous, to do something very daring, even if you're attracted to someone romantically, taking that first step to let them know. If you're in a committed relationship, changing things up in some kind of way can be a smart thing to do. There is a quarter moon which occurs on Thursday. It's possible that something that's very important to you may not be something that's very important to someone that's important to your progress. This could be a business advisor, it could be a boss, it could potentially be a lender, but then again it could be someone personal who's not quite invested in your idea. But stay patient, because by the end of this week the potential for impatience is very high as your two rulers go face to face. But if you can choose your words with care, your determination and willpower as this week draws to a close can be absolutely incredible. And if you really put your mind to something, there's very few things you can't achieve. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Sagittarius, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast begins with the Sun conflicted by Pluto. Something you'd set your sights on, a long-term plan, may be inhibited perhaps by a shortage of immediate finance. But do be positive, because Mars in your sector of long-term finance suggests that if you look at the situation in a fresh way with its link to Uranus, you may yet be able to make progress. The Sun's arrival in your 12th house does point towards a period over the next month of just wanting to draw in and reflect on certain parts of your situation. However, the quarter moon, which occurs on Thursday, does mean that if something comes up that you find a little challenging, it could get under your celestial skin a bit more than is ordinarily the case. But if you're determined to make progress with rebalancing your budget, focusing your energies or your time or your skills towards the things that can reap you a reward, your determination to make progress by the end of this week can be absolutely incredibly strong. It's just that you could find yourself revisiting an old skill or experience and repurposing it in a new way which is more appropriate for your situation now. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Capricorn, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast could begin with a little bit of a stubborn standoff. And ironically, the week can end with one too. Why is that? Well, it's all about Pluto. In that last degree in your sign, Pluto clashes with the Sun at the start of the week. The Sun's been pushing you over the last month to seize your moment, to raise your profile when it comes to your ambitions. But maybe people haven't been quite as receptive as you would like, and that's created some frustration. Just know, with Mercury linking so productively to your ruler Saturn in the first half of this week, if you can just try to take a backward step, try to view the situation in a wider lens, keep the lines of communication open, there's every chance things will get to a clearer understanding. In fact, on Tuesday, the Sun moves into a very social part of your scope, but also one that's brilliant for building your network, but also planning your long-term hopes. There's also a terrific link this week between Mars and Uranus. If you are available or wanting some kind of connection in a more romantic sphere, that electric energy between Mars and Uranus could see something happen, and really quite quickly. The quarter moon, however, which occurs on Thursday, is in a part of your situation that's very much to do with what you share, where you're most invested. If there are certain friendships that do seem to be a bit weighed down by limitations, perhaps someone's a bit controlling or needy, you may want to liberate yourself from that energy. And as Mars and Pluto go face to face, or start to do so from the end of this week, which peaks on the 3rd of November, it's a prime moment in the year for you being very strong about what you really want, but particularly around your boundaries. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. Aquarius, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast sees a point of principle or your appreciation of fairness be right at the heart of your thinking. The problem is you may be dealing with someone, or need to deal with someone, who's not as upfront and straightforward as you, and that can be frustrating. However, if there is a goal or ambition that you're really invested in, from Tuesday you have a month when you can really seize this opportunity in a very determined way. Also, Mercury, linking brilliantly with your traditional ruler of Saturn, suggests if you are discussing a financial matter to do with your work, that can be primed very positively for you in the early part of this week. Now, there is a link between Mars in a very hard-working part of your chart and your modern ruler Uranus in your home zone. It's possible that that combination could help you to look at a detail in a fresh way and tease out some kind of extra solution or value. The quarter moon, however, on Thursday suggests if there is someone you work with at the current time, perhaps a line manager, perhaps a colleague who you don't find so easy to get along with, that issue can be more to the fore through the end of this week. A time when Mars and Pluto go face to face. And if you are someone very dedicated, very committed, very invested and hard working, but you are dealing with a situation where you never seem to know exactly what's expected of you, that can create, unfortunately, some frustration as this week draws to a close. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too. So Pisces, your week commencing the 21st of October forecast begins with the Sun squaring up to Pluto, one of astrology's potentially more challenging influences. If there is something that you're needing to work through, perhaps even let go and release in order to secure your future peace of mind, that may be something that's really to the fore. You have a great opportunity, however, with the arrival of the Sun in your sister water sign of Scorpio and joining up with Mercury on Tuesday to really embrace any sense of liberation if that's what you decide to do. In fact, if you have been thinking of learning a new skill, perhaps applying for a course or travelling, the following month can be particularly dynamic for you. But Mars continues its journey in a very flamboyant part of your chart and in a great link with Uranus this week. If you do want to socialise, something can happen very quickly, a last minute invitation. There could even be some electricity between you and someone you encounter. The quarter moon, however, which occurs on Thursday, just says not to try and pack too much in to the second half of this week. Your need for freedom is really being emphasised, and if you do have a lot of obligations and responsibilities that are locking you in some way, that can create some frustration. By the end of the week, as Mars and Pluto start to go into a face-off, if your creative talents are not really being manifested around your future hopes as much as they could be, by the 3rd of November you have an opportunity to refocus your plan, because at the end of the day, if you're working your way towards something which is no longer holding the same appeal as it did once before, it's time to recalibrate your whole project and approach. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope offer by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can also get your life roadmap report 30% off. Stunning amount of information, and it's great value too.